You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
What's up? We missed you guys. I'm gone for a couple days with the different schedule. We got Cerruti, we got Kyle. Life advice, the email address, lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. What's up, everyone?
Not much. Nice Friday.
Nice little Friday. Feels like it. It's early. It's early for us right
Pizza
now.
Friday?
Huh? That'd be pretty good. Do you ever think about going into the studio, Kyle, and bringing pizza for everybody?
No.
Yeah, that'd be weird. All right. Should we read? We've had a lot of people after the military guy was asking people to help pay for his flight. Mass media.
Still? Wow.
So we keep. Well, a lot of people actually chimed in to be like, that guy 100% was scamming dudes. Yeah. I've yet to see an email from anyone suggesting otherwise. Because, yeah, I think there's that 1% guilt of like, what if this is true? But a lot of people have chimed in with different stories. So I don't know. Do we want to hear one of those? Let's do it. All right. 6'4", 240, 36 years old, NBA comp, Vlade Divac, with slightly worse court vision. A situation arose a couple weeks ago that made me think of your airport military guy story. I'm born and raised in Buffalo, but I've lived in New Jersey for the better part of 20 years, post Seton Hall, Big East. I've had Bills season tickets for the last 10, 12 years and drive home for around half the games each season after the wild card game versus the Broncos. This guy's dedicated.
Jersey to Buffalo. That's no joke.
You would do that, though.
My brother lives in Buffalo, and he bought a house like 2 years ago. I've never seen it. I don't know. Some big's going to happen for me to get over there, I think.
Buffalo is one of those places where you don't just like go to Buffalo. Like, it's you don't just happen to be in Buffalo. You need a purpose to be in Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have to get out there at some point, but it's just not at the top of my list.
What's the distance from Poughkeepsie? Still pretty far.
It's like 7 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like New York. Like, I thought it was bad driving to Potsdam, New York from like, I'm like an hour and a piece above the city, and there's still like 6 hours you go up. I was like, that's insane. And then Buffalo is like
Canada.
It's way longer. It's just so weird. It's like it keeps going. You just take a left turn off the I-87 and you just go forever. So I don't know. It's not at the top of my list, but I do think I should get there at some point.
So your brother lives there, has a house, family?
Yeah.
And people are mad at me. I won't go to the Frolic Room.
All right. Well, it's that trip times 8, I guess. I don't know. On its worst day, but
also not related to you, dude.
It's probably easier to go to Frolic Room for you.
That's a good point.
Than it is for Kyle.
Hey, I'm not mad anymore. It is what it is.
All right. So after the wild card game, I woke up bright and early Monday morning around 4:30 a.m. and hit the road back to New Jersey to get to the office. Yeah, this guy's into it. I stopped at the first rest stop on I-90 outside of Buffalo to fill up the gas tank. About halfway through my fill, I see a beat up black SUV. I think an old Chevy Blazer with the front passenger window smashed out, replaced with a plastic bag. Immediately, red flags are up. So I'm paying close attention. Remember, it's around 5 a.m. Solo out there, freezing dark, etc. A disheveled 55-year-old woman, maybe 5 feet tall, emerges and makes an immediate brisk turn and walks in my direction. Oh, boy. She just starts talking, no niceties or greetings, and tells me her car was broken into in Buffalo and they stole her wallet. She then asked me to fill up her tank for her. Remembering your story, I kind of froze and just spit out, I can't afford that. I'm sorry. She shook her head in frustration and walked off without another word. Did I do the right thing? I felt kind of guilty afterwards, but something just seemed off about the whole situation. If you have no money, are you really going to get on the highway at the crack of dawn with no guarantee of getting gas? Seemed fishy to me. Either way, let me know. Love
I feel
the
like
show.
An old beat
Bills.
up Chevy Blazer is like, it's like the black Air Force One of cars. It's like it could be just a guy who works in a restaurant, or it could be a guy who's about to take all your stuff. So I don't know.
Tell you what, those Chevy Blazers, when they first are on the scene,
totally.
You had one of those.
Big deal.
I mean, it's some kid. Yeah, I mean, like, dude, that guy could do anything. He's got a Chevy Blazer. I mean, this podcast, I don't know that we want to pivot to this. Russillo podcast, helping people not help people since 2024. I like your instincts on this one. Because whenever it happens to you, then you'll spend the next however many minutes. And for you, you had a long drive, so you probably spent more than a few minutes on the subject in your own. You're having a little podcast in your head, and you're thinking, okay, but this doesn't make any sense, and this doesn't make any sense. And you're right. Like, I'm on E. Let me just get on the highway, see what happens at 5 a.m. If it's that bad for me, I'm probably sleeping in wherever I am. Right?
Yeah. And consider the location, right? Gas stations kind of invite fuckery. I mean, I would say maybe,
Also a great point.
Maybe public access points to airports too, when you would consider baggage claim or something. Back alleys. Just a lot of, there's just places where your shit detector should be at least turned on with anybody who's approaching you. And I think gas stations are 1,000% one of those places.
So you're saying higher people flow areas, higher percentage of fuckery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. Bus stations.
Totally.
What's the last time you've been on a bus, Kyle?
Probably 20. I took one to the Dodgers game and I had like a bunch of little flashbacks, but like real bus guy.
You were a bus guy.
2019. Yeah,
pre-Mustang, right?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
From bus to a Mustang. Come on, dude.
The glow up is real.
Who says America's headed in the wrong direction? Right? Okay. Slighted on social media. I like this one. All right, let's go. Early 40s, 5'9", 165. Comp is Chris Corciani without a handle or a jump shot. I have a Chris Corciani practice jersey that was actually his. Well, sort of weird how I ended up with it. So shout out to him. I still will wear. I might wear it to work out today. I love it. I look great in it. I'll get right to it. I've been dating my girlfriend, 40. So our guy is early 40s, girlfriend 40, for a year and a half, pics included. He did send pics. They didn't load up. So sorry, dude. Can't add any more perspective. We'll just have to trust you. The relationship has largely been great. We spend time with each other's kids, spend a lot of time together, get along really well. I'm an okay looking guy, but my dating strengths are my job stability and being a nice guy. My girlfriend, on the other hand, is a 10. She's also smart with a great job. I'm not sure if her good looks will be a factor in your response. Well, they can't be, buddy, because we can't see them. But it could be irrelevant. But it could be relevant. Yeah, it's definitely relevant. I'm not on social media at all. I'll be on LinkedIn, but she's very active on Instagram. When she goes out with friends, she generally is taking tons of pictures and posting them. I don't even look at her social media, but I've gathered that based on comments she has made and things that he's shown me. She mentioned posting a picture of herself and a former male coworker, men's tennis. She went to dinner with, and I asked her if she'd ever posted a picture of me. Oh, she said she has not. I asked if she had ever mentioned even having a boyfriend generically, and she has not. I know she posts pics of meals, drinks from our date nights pretty much every time, but doesn't mention that she is with me by name or title. This really wasn't on my radar until she mentioned posting pictures after going to dinner with a former male coworker, but now it's really bothering me. Even though I know he is just a friend, it's hard not to take this personal since I'm the one thing person in her life she doesn't post about, and it's hard not to speculate why after being together for as long as we have. I should mention I did ask about it. The problem was I asked while we were arguing about another topic. Good timing, man.
And another thing, you never post pictures of me. That'll go over well.
Right. It's like in that argument tug of war where you're like, I'm losing it. What can I come up with? You've never said hello to my dad. Yeah.
Oh man. There needs to be a term for that. Maybe there is. Just bottom of the barrel shit that you just get out in an argument when you're just out of ideas.
Yeah. We had a roommate that did it all the time. Like he'd be going sideways and then he would bring up utilities to me or something. I'd be like, okay, yep. I'm late on the electric.
Yeah. Well, like,
do whatever you want.
Dude, I feel like
I
feel like dudes, they would be like, and you offer me the worst fantasy football traits. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, where is this?
Every gas money. You always got somewhere to go. Yeah.
But here's the thing. I love that this guy knew. He's like, the problem was, he knew exactly. He's in his 40s. He already knows the game. So he knew. And it was an argument I was losing. Of course, that's when you brought it up. That's exactly. All right. So we didn't get any depth on it, and she was clearly annoyed. I mentioned it in that moment. I felt like I had to drop it due to the other issue we were talking about, the fact we were on a way to a holiday dinner gathering.
Man, your timing is incredible.
Yeah. And scene. Yeah. All right, let's go be nice.
I mean, this is just using that card so like, well, you already know you used it at the wrong time. You know, you should have waited patiently. When can I best use this to win? The only explanation I got at the time was she likes to keep relation stuff personal, but nothing else. Am I being oversensitive by being bothered by this? I don't want to be in the pictures, but should she mention she has a boyfriend at this point? I have no norms for this type of thing since I stay away from social media. Should I bring it up again during a neutral time since it continues to bother me, or do I let this go? We're going to New York for Valentine's Day, and she'll be posting stuff left and right, but never mention she is with me. You know, I'll be silently pissed the whole time. Sounds like a great trip, buddy. All right.
Should we
I
just
totally
bring back Facebook statuses for all like Instagram and everything? I mean, it was kind of annoying when everyone was like, oh, now it's complicated now. But I mean, this would just kind of solve his problem. That'd be good.
It's complicated is one of the most genius things
What's crazy
in the history of
It's ridiculous.
tech. It's complicated. Like if you got it's complicated is worse than like I don't like the guy I'm with.
Right, totally.
I'd rather that.
It's keeping my options open, but
Right.
you know,
This isn't going anywhere.
DMs are open.
Okay. I totally get your point, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that are like 100% on your side on this one, especially as you gear up for Valentine's, and it's going to be some espresso. He's going to be in the picture, and the restaurant's going to be tagged.
Just your collar will be invisible.
Right.
Cut off at the neck.
Yeah, right. She starts airbrushing out like a finger that way into the dinner table. Like we're really worried. I would say this as somebody that knows women that are in the content game, nothing derails their content momentum more than I have a boyfriend or a husband.
And here he is.
So, and you know, who knows to what level she's at right now. Chances are she probably aspires to a greater level. Like I see it all the time. I'm like, dude, this girl's married. Like I know her boyfriend. I'll be friends with a girl that's on TV who the boyfriend may as well be a make-believe friend when you're 7.
He doesn't go to the school.
Right. I think it has a lot to do with how dudes are too, because the illusion of attainability is a really good marketing strategy. And you may be sitting here being like, dude, what are you talking about? She's got 1,200 followers. Like, it doesn't matter. She does real estate on the side. Like, she's not aspiring. Okay, maybe she isn't, but it sure seems like she likes posting stuff. And I think that's the other thing. And this is both male and female. Like, I see it all the time. It's like, what are you doing now, man? You're like posting all this stuff, or you're doing these videos where you're walking and like, you don't really work in this, but then they look at somebody else with 1 million followers who found a way to build a brand and make money off the whole thing. And because it's actually so unimpressive, okay, not to say that there aren't people that are great at doing it, but you understand the point. Like there's so many people that are doing it where you're like, that's all that person does, you know? Girl's a little overweight, but wears a crop top and dudes are losing their minds. You know? I wish there was a male equivalent of that. Imagine, like, I don't really like him, but god damn, or his shoulder's terrific, you know? Just so, anyway, I don't know where that was going, but the point is,
Same.
Rudy's like, totally understand. I think the point is that there's a reason she's doing this that is more likely, I shouldn't say a lie, but like the motivation behind it isn't because she doesn't like you. It isn't because she isn't proud of you. She just kind of needs to keep it as not part of her deal to continue her pursuit of whatever it is on Instagram.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably good that you're not an Instagram guy because, you know, you'll have to like, you know, Google her Instagram or whatever. And, you know, probably don't even have the app. And it's, you know, it's like you're doing a web version of Instagram. So, I mean, it's like, it'll be less often than when you're just scrolling and you're like, oh, there's another one that I'm not in. I'd say to your point, like I'm 10 years younger than this guy, but there's a lot of people my age I went to school with. Like you said, the 1,200 followers, 800 followers. I'm not really sure what their end game is, but it's like, you know,
I know what they think.
Here's how I raise my kids, or like, here's, you know, here's a DIY project I'm doing. I'm like, I don't know who this is for, but like, I can see it's definitely, they definitely have.
There's some goal.
Like you have the same amount of followers you did in high school. You picked up 100 in college. And I just don't know what I don't know what they gave, but there's like, I could think of probably 10 or 12 people that I went to high school with, and it's just like there's a channel here.
Isn't
And
it
it's
kind of
also,
funny?
but it's
too?
also their family holidays. You know what I mean? It's like they don't know what they want to do with it, but they're just like, here's some content, and maybe we can, have this take off and take the edge off the Bills one day. I don't know what it is, but I could see if she's like soft committed to whatever this is. Maybe it's just like I'm a hot 40-year-old who goes out to dinner. I don't know, but I could see why if there is something like maybe this. Just keep the Instagram line in the water and maybe we'll get a tug one day. I don't know. It could be that. But I mean, some people just aren't.
Well, she's a 10. She's probably getting a few tugs.
Yeah. Well, I would want to know what her follower count is. Like, is it real or is it not real? Because to your point, Kyle, isn't it always kind of funny? Like when you see like the dominoes fall of someone, like, oh, they're going the influencer route. Like, you got 800 followers, and like you're doing that now. And it's a little bit, I don't know. Like it's a little awkward at the beginning, and then, but it's actually kind of good content because I'm like, I want to see where this goes. Like, is this going to take off? Probably not. In this,
But can you blame the person? Because it's not like
No, you can't.
nobody
without
goes
being
to a
hater.
movie. Like there's a part of this in podcasting too, and I could just spend way too much time on this. But like no one goes to a movie and watches DiCaprio and says like, I could have done that. I mean, sure, there's a few people if we want to play that game, but
Yeah, but
majority of
they
people
think of Mr.
understand,
Beast
right?
and they're like, what the fuck's the difference between me and him?
Exactly. Right. Very good. Great example. I might even have a nicer smile, not me. I'm just talking about the person in general that looks at the stuff being like, I could just do this. Like your kid's crying and you bought him a fucking hat at the mall post. You can do that.
Right.
So, and look, she could be doing it for the bad reason.
Yeah.
Right. But I do think it's worth trying to understand that because I think it's a very common thing that as soon as it's like, oh, she's got a boyfriend or oh, she's married, like it's completely different. And then all of a sudden it's just, oh, well, all right. Well, like the guy liking the photos was in the mix before this news, which he wasn't. But there's something that happens to that guy where he's like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to date her. Seeing somebody, fucking loser.
I mean, it sounds stupid,
Yeah.
but like it's like anything. Like, are there other red flags in the relationship? If everything's cool and it's good and you guys get along, everything you said, like if this makes her feel good, it's probably really harmless, like, and if she wants to post some pictures and have people like her and start following, like, and that makes her feel better about her life, then let I think you kind of got to ignore it. It's good, like I said, as Kyle said, it's good you're not on social media. It's kind of like, Ryan, we used to talk about, like, there are like podcasts that like do shows based on just like what Twitter says, like what the reaction is, and those are like the worst things because it's not really real. Like, you shouldn't react or be a boyfriend based on shit you see on your girlfriend's Instagram account, because that's just going to make you miserable, and it's going to inevitably lead to you breaking up because nobody can really probably handle that. So I would just kind of keep on keeping on and just maybe just keep your head in the sand and hope for the best. If you trust her, then that's the way to go.
Yeah, right. If you trust her, I think Cerruti nailed it.
Yeah,
If
because the
everything else
DMs
is
are
good,
probably
there's
open.
no- right.
That's the thing. It's not like a magazine of her life. And it's like, look at this hot girl. It's like, you can also just hit this button and try talking to her, and you don't know how she behaves with that. So that's the pit in your stomach, I think.
Are you saying look through her phone?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
if she's like putting this version of herself out there, like, you're just not in that version of her life. And it's just like, why? The big question is, why is that? And I guess we didn't solve that. So
Okay. All right, next one. My dad is my roommate. Help. Longtime listener, first time caller. No gym stats today. Pickup game. Ish Smith's best 8-game stretch in Detroit to end the 2016-17 season. Ish Smith, a lot of jerseys. I'm 33 and I live with my dad. My dad had some health issues. I had an extra bedroom, so I moved him in my house. At the time, I was single, caught up in my own life. It wasn't a huge inconvenience. That was 4 years ago. My son is now 13 years old and busier than ever. My son's mom and I are not together, but have a great relationship. She lives with her parents about 30 minutes away from where my son splits his living time. Over the last year, we have thrown the idea around of moving in together to help each other, and would make things so much easier getting our son to and from school, basketball, friends, houses, etc. That's a big move. During the time living with my dad, he's turned my house into his own house, sleeping on the couch. Shout out to the guy with the soccer workout roommate. eating the food I buy for my son. He's one of the messiest people on the planet. I moved my dad into the master bedroom. The room is absolutely disgusting. The living room is turned into his room. Every day living with him is the same routine of my coming home from whatever I have going on that day at any hour of the day and finding my dad sitting on the couch watching TV. I love my dad. I was happy to help him at the time. I'm 33 and want to live my own life with my family. My question to you, how do I go about addressing this conversation to my dad about moving out? I don't know that he can afford to be out on his own, but at the same time, I don't think that should be my problem that he can't. I don't know what to do. Any suggestions are welcome. Love the pod. Yeah, that's a tough one.
He has so much goodwill banked with you. Like, it's like, what can you put a number on it? That's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you've done for your dad here is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those
4
things
years.
like when you're getting yelled at when you're a little kid and your parents are like, family's all that matters. Family's the only thing that's going to be there for you. And you're like, shut up. I just want to go play basketball. Leave me alone. And they're right. They're right. You hope to have a family, right? You hope to have a family that throughout the ups and downs can always kind of be there for you. You think about so many young people that move home or somebody that goes through something personally or divorce. There's just a list of things where it's an amazing thing to know that if you have to, and not everybody has this, right? But if you do have it, that you have the option of, well, I can just go home and kind of reset and do everything. But you eventually probably want to leave, as most of us would if you ever have to go back home during some kind of situation like that. I had to go back home for like 3 or 4 months, and it was great because I was like, I'm never doing this again. But it was there. It was an option. And look, there's different friends I could have stayed with or anything, but at that point it was just like, this would be the easiest thing and the cheapest. In this case, man, it's a struggle for you. And it should be for anybody that cares about a parent. And in this case, your dad. But what I'm going to tell you is that it doesn't mean that this is just what the rest of your life is supposed to be. Like, that would be completely unfair. And you would hope that your father would understand that. Now, you said you don't know what he can do financially. Is it worth it to you to sit down with him and say, look, I want to get my kid back in my life here with maybe the mom. This is about raising my kid. I'm here to do whatever I can to help you, but we need to come up with a plan. So you're not just coming home one day, really, because you're probably going to have a breaking point and it'd be way uglier. So I would try to get in front of that and say, I've done everything I could. And if he's a good dad, he's a good person, he should appreciate this and be like, you know what, you're right. Right. And then you have that. Be like, did you think you were going to live here forever? Okay. Now there can be some dynamics too, where there ends up being this massive parent guilt trip thing where it's like, I've done all this for you and you have to do this for me. And this is
Stuff
what matters.
You hope
It's like
never gets said. Right. Stuff you hope never gets to the point where you pull that card out.
But, sometimes with the parents, in this case, let's say father-son dynamic, it's up to you to try to break out of that. And it doesn't mean to break permanently, but it's up to you to kind of break out of that dynamic with just a straight up man-to-man conversation where it's like, yeah, we're father and son, but let's talk about what this is right now. Okay. Here's what's on my table. Here's what the deal has been. We knew there was an end date. What can we do to put you in the best position so that when you transition out of here to wherever you're moving next, like, this isn't abrupt. It's not after a blow up. Don't even bring up all the messy stuff. Just say, hey, straight up, I'm getting my son back in the mix. The mom may be back in the mix. I need to figure out a way to get you on your feet. Right. So that it's not accusatory. It's not negative. It's not getting on his ass about all the things that are already making you mad, which you'd be more than justified of bringing up. So I think you need to figure out that conversation where it doesn't feel like it's happening next week. So he's all freaked out. And if he says to you like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't have any other choice, and like, this is kind of what you have to do, that's when you're probably going to have to push a little bit harder than you want to. And it's not going to be fun. And it's probably going to make you feel bad. You're going to feel guilt. But what you're signed up for right now is not really, it's not fair to you, man. It's not fair to whatever you're trying to do to strengthen your immediate family.
Yeah, I think throwing out ideas or like, hey, these places highly rated, free heat and hot water, boom. Like, maybe I think you sprinkle a lot.
Start looking at some reviews.
you sprinkle a lot of helpfulness over a little bit of, hey, we got to talk. I think
Foxwood Suites, Dad, 3.7.
Right.
They have a park,
covered parking. Right. In unit washer dryer. I think being a little helpful and just having him say, you'll be able to tell when you're being helpful and having how he responds to you being like, hey, this is probably in your budget, right? This is rent lock. This is whatever. And the other thing is, I don't know how old your dad is. If you're saying you have kids and you're an adult, I mean, he might be the point where he's not working or, approaching Social Security, whatever. Like, it might be helpful to know what his deal is. But I think being able to come up with like something affordable and something that's, highly in the realm of possibility, how he responds to that would tell you a lot, I think. If this actually is a decent plan that has feasibility and he's just like, he's not receptive to it at all, then I think you have an idea whether you have to put, because you came in the most respectful, helpful way. And if that is kind of pushed aside, then you're like, all right, we've got to turn up the heat a little bit.
Did he mention any other relatives?
No.
Like, does he have a brother? Like, again, I'd assume
you're up, dude.
Go stay with him for a
it's,
summer.
It's like, he's yours for the next 5 years. I don't know. It's just if that's a possibility. I mean, I'm sure you've thought about that, but he did bring it up in the email, so I think I forgot.
What's your shed situation?
Got a band cave?
Can winterize this bad boy?
Yeah. The other thing I just feel like I need to bring up.
Run an extension cord out here, Dad. You watch all the TV you want.
Space heater. Yeah.
Some nice clotheslines.
The one thing I feel like I do feel like I need to bring this up. Maybe you guys would think I'm wrong, but are you also trying to move in with the ex to get away from your dad? Like is that hopefully that those are two very separate things. Like, you shouldn't be doing that just like because you think it's going to be.
There's nothing added there. Yeah.
Like I hope it works out for you. I hope maybe you guys, who knows, maybe you live together and everything's kumbaya. Kind of seems like a little bit of a disaster waiting to happen. But I just hope.
If she's looking at stay with my parents or go move back with this guy, maybe she's like more interested than he is. And I don't know.
I just hope he wouldn't be like, hey, I got to get out of my dad's situation, so let me move in with my ex. And I know the kid thing is.
He didn't add. Look, honestly, that move, he added very little depth on what would seem to be major. Like, he doesn't add if they're getting back together or maybe they're just.
He said it was out of convenience, right? He was like, just to make the traveling a little easier. All right, with 30 minutes, it's not like driving to Buffalo.
That's a whole nother email. That's its own segment. We wouldn't even get to another email with that one.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, we got sick of paying for gas. So you're living with your ex-wife.
So we live in a minefield. Yeah. Crazy.
It's really about where your dad's head is at with it all. Because he might be like, this has been awesome. I don't want to leave this deal, but then maybe it can help you deal with the guilt part of it, realizing that he's been totally fine taking advantage of the situation. And like to Rudy's point, like, we don't know finances of it. It sounds like he's on the other side of the health thing or whatever, but it's been 4 years, man. It's been 4 years. And I think the best way to handle it is to look at it as, hey, what's next? Like, what's the plan? Ask him, did you think you were going to live here forever? And if he says yes, good luck, because I don't know what to say to that one. All right. Thank you to Cerruti, to Kyle, to Wargon. Normal week next week, and fired up to get ready for the Super Bowl and everything else that's going on, and the trade deadline. So a lot going on here on the show. Check us out on YouTube. Ryen Russillo Podcast. We're going to respond.